Hi parents and carers of reception class children. Thank you so much for coming to watch this class assembly. I'm just going to give you some important information about the beginning of the year in reception. So my name is Miss Hinkins, as most of you will know already, and it's really lovely to have met all of you over the last few weeks. Your children have come into school so amazingly, considering they've had all that time off. They are just all amazing, resilient, wonderful children. So it's been an absolute pleasure having them in my classroom. And yeah, here's to a good year. So I'm just going to share my screen with you so that you can see a slideshow that I've prepared for us. If you want any of the information available to you afterwards, please ask me for a copy of the slideshow, or feel free to pause it throughout and just take notes. So let me just share my screen and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Okay. Here we are, reception class meeting. As you all know, your child is in reception class at St George's School. So this is our reception team. There's me, I'm the teacher, Miss Hinkins. I'm also the foundation stage leader as well. Miss Conway is the teaching assistant in the classroom, and Miss Hitchison is the teaching assistant in the classroom. Your children will all know these names, but just in case some of you haven't had a chance to meet all of us yet, that's the reception team. You can come to us with any issues or any concerns that you have. Any of us will be happy to help you. So just first of all, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the early years curriculum. So first of all, you might hear the acronym EYFS quite a lot. Those of you that have got older children might know already what this means, but it basically stands for the early years foundation stage. The early years foundation stage is a stage of learning that your child is at until they are 5 years old. So if your child is in nursery class or reception class, they are in early years foundation stage, or EYFS as we call it. Next year, your child will not be in EYFS anymore. They will go into Key Stage 1, but for the time being, they are in EYFS. And in EYFS, we have a specific curriculum, and the curriculum is different to the rest of the school. So there are 7 key areas of learning. The first is reading and writing. The second is numbers and shapes. The third is PSHE. That includes making relationships, building children's confidence, and managing their feelings and behaviour. The fourth area of learning is communication and language. That could be listening, speaking, and understanding. Then we've got physical development. That includes your health, self-care, moving, and handling. That's things like PE, but it's also fine motor skills, like how to hold your pen properly, how to hold your pencil properly, and it's also gross motor skills like climbing, catching, throwing a ball. It also includes self-care, so can they take themselves to the toilet effectively? Can they feed themselves? Then we've got people, the world, and technology. That's also known as understanding of the world. That kind of includes your science, geography, and history. And then finally, we have got creative subjects. We've got dance, art, drama, and music. All of these areas are covered through, they can be covered through a range of, they can be covered in a range of ways in reception class. So in St George's, we're really proud of the fact that we strike a really good balance between play and more formal aspects of learning. So there will be a mixture of carpet sessions, which is where your child will come and sit down on the carpet and be directly taught something. And then there will also be a mixture of play throughout the day. Play is really, really, really important for the children's learning. So we include it as part of the curriculum. Phonics and Maths. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about them because we use very particular approaches to phonics and maths at St George's. We use these approaches because they're really effective and they work really well for our children in our school. So for phonics, we use Sounds Right. This is a brilliant program and we deliver it throughout the school. So we don't just stop phonics at year 2, we actually go and teach phonics throughout until the children get to year 6. It teaches children to understand the sounds in context. You'll learn more about this when we do a home learning session. So family learning or home learning is where normally you would come into school and I will teach you how we teach the children in school, so that when you're reading with them or writing with them at home or doing maths with them at home, that you can support them effectively and in the same way that we do it at school. We find this works really well because it's really consistent then. If the same thing's happening at home and at school, particularly when they're this age, the children really thrive and they learn really quickly. So that's what we normally do. This year it's going to be a bit tricky because of COVID. We'll let you know what our plans are. It may be that we do a Zoom session like this, or it may be that we postpone the family learning session until we can all meet together. But it will happen at some point in some shape or form. Then maths. So maths is taught through a scheme called Maths No Problem. This is also taught throughout the school. This programme is based on a Singaporean maths approach. So it's designed to teach maths in depth and thoroughness. So rather than the children being able to count from 1 to 100, we want them to know the depth and thoroughness of those numbers. So we would rather they know how to count a small amount of numbers, but understand exactly what those numbers mean, exactly how to manipulate those numbers, how to add and take away, all of those concepts. So it's about teaching it in a really deep way. Some parents have been asking me about our daily routine. So firstly, when the children come in, they do some settling in, and we've been settling them in with some handwriting for the last few weeks, which they're doing really well with. We've been encouraging them to write on lines on their board. They're doing really well. Then we do our welcome and good morning song. We then do a talk for writing session. Talk for writing is our writing lesson. It's a scheme that we use. You'll learn more about that as well throughout the year. Then we do some focus tasks. That involves me taking small groups of children and helping them with their reading, writing and maths. And during that time, they will have child-initiated activities or playtime. We then will come back and have a maths carpet session, followed by more focus tasks and child-initiated activities. So there's a mixture there, you can see already, of the children coming and learning on the carpet and then going off to learn through play. We then have a maths meeting and then we do our lunch. So we have our lunch time. A couple of parents have also asked me what their children are eating at lunch. I've printed off some copies of the menu. So if you would like a copy of the menu, please just come and ask me and I can give it to you straight away. If your child is a fussy eater, I do recommend trying them on school lunches if you'd like them to have school lunches, because sometimes in a different context, they do become more accustomed to eating different foods. But also if you want to give them a packed lunch of foods that they're used to, then that is absolutely fine as well. Either way, they're eating at lunchtime, whether it's the school meal or the packed lunch. Then after lunch, we have sound time and we have some more focus tasks and child-initiated activities. Then we have a story time. During the story time, we have milk. If you would like your child to not drink milk, please let us know. And then they have home time. I should also mention here that we also have a snack time, which normally comes after our maths carpet session. So in the morning, we normally have a snack. It's fruit most of the time, sometimes vegetables, and we encourage all the children to have a try of the fruit. All of you have let us know any dietary requirements, but please keep us updated with those because they are trying different foods at snack time and at lunchtime. So let us know of any dietary requirements or allergies. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was book bags and reading books. So book bags are the rectangular shaped bags and they need to be brought into school every single day. The reason for this is that we often put letters into the bags, or the children bring home their paintings or drawings or writing for you to look at. And children will start bringing a reading book home after half term. So after October half term, your child will be bringing home a reading book. That reading book will be changed twice a week. Sometimes it will be changed once a week if it's a big book or a particularly challenging book, but more often than not, it'll be changed twice a week. If your child's book bag is not in school, we can't give your child a new book. So this book bag needs to come back every single day because they will be reading with us every single day. Even if the book stays the same, they've still read it at school with us. And they also need to be reading it with you every night. So please bring it in every day. Unfortunately, if you have lost or damaged a book, there is a £5 charge. This is because we have to buy them in group packs. We can't just buy individual books. So what we found works in the past really well is when children have read their book at home, whether it's in bed with you or on the sofa with you or at the kitchen table, wherever it is that you're reading, as soon as they finish their book, they put it straight back in the book bag, and that normally means that books don't get lost or misplaced. Water bottles. So particularly in the last week or so, it has been absolutely boiling hot. Every child needs to bring a water bottle to school every day. This is particularly important at the moment because of COVID restrictions. We can give them a cup, but it's way more hygienic if they've got their own bottle. Obviously, if you forget a bottle, we are not going to let your child just go throughout the day with no water. We will give them water, but please just bring them in a bottle every day with their name on it, and make sure it's water in the bottle. We can't have squash or juice in school. They're welcome to have that after school, but in school we stick to water. So superstars, if your child is a superstar, they will get a badge, which is a small gold badge, which they wear on their chest. Every half term, these badges get renewed. So if your child got a superstar badge this half term, it will be taken away again at half term, and then they have to earn it back again in the second half term. The idea is that your child, if your child follows our Calm School code, then they are eligible to get a superstar badge. So the Calm School code is to listen carefully, act kindly, speak nicely, and move calmly. We use these affirmations throughout the whole school. It goes all the way from nursery to year 6. We found that they're really child friendly, they're basic, but they kind of encompass everything about teaching your child about respect and boundaries and kindness. So that's our Calm School code that we follow. It'd be great if you can use that language at home with them as well, so they're hearing it at home and school. But yeah, that's what they'll, if they want to aim towards a superstar badge, those are the things they need to be doing in class. If they do these things consistently, then they will be awarded a superstar badge. We also have another badge that your child can earn. It's a Confident Voice badge. So if your child becomes a member of the Confident Voice Society, it's because they are using their voice appropriately. So they're speaking at a good volume, not shouting, not whispering, but at a good, confident volume. They're using eye contact while they're communicating. They're speaking in full sentences. So if you say to them, "Would you like water?" instead of them just saying yes, we would hope that they would say a full sentence. They say, "Yes, I'd like some water, please." And speaking clearly as well. Another thing that some of your children will probably have already told you about is that we use thinking thumbs at school. When I was at school, it was hands up like this, but in St George's, we use a thinking thumb. We do this because if your thumb is here on your chest rather than up here, you are less likely to obstruct other children's views. So if they've got their thumb on their chest, the teacher can still see that they want to talk, but they're not in other children's faces, basically. So that's why we use a thinking thumb. We encourage them to wait for an adult to say that they can talk, so that they're not all talking at the same time on the carpet. And this just basically encourages the idea of taking turns. Again, if they do these things consistently, then they might be awarded their Confident Voice badge. The Confident Voice badge and the Superstar badge will be given to them in assemblies, so it's a really special occasion for them, and they are normally absolutely chuffed, really proud to come and tell you guys when they've got one. And the final badge we offer in reception is the Big 10 Club. This is a maths specific club. It's all about number bonds. So what we really, by February half term, we would want them to know their number bonds. So this is what the test looks like. There's an example of it on the screen. There are normally about 10 questions, but it might be 1 add blank is equal to 10, and the child has to fill in that square. Or the blank square could come at the beginning of the number sentence here. So it could be blank add 3 is equal to 10, or it could be 5 add 5 is equal to blank. And the child has got to fill those in and know those number bonds off by heart. And the catch is they have to know those and be able to write them down in less than 1 minute. So it is a challenge for them, but it is amazing how quickly they will get to know that. So again, practicing at home as much as possible will help your child to get into that Big 10 Club. Uniform. A quick note about uniform, because those of you who went to our St George's nursery will have had a slightly different uniform. it changes in reception, and it's really important that they have the correct uniform. So all children in reception class should have a tie. It might be that you want to get an elasticated tie or a clip-on tie, but they all need to have a tie every single day. They also all need to be wearing a shirt. That's a proper shirt, not the polo shirts that they wear in nursery. They need to be wearing a button-up shirt that comes, the buttons go all the way from the bottom to the top. They need to have one of those. Again, you can choose if it's short sleeves or long sleeve, but it needs to be a white shirt. They also need a school jumper. So not just a navy jumper, they need one with the school logo on it. They also need navy trousers and a skirt, or a skirt, depending on which you'd like them to wear. In early years, we do find that they do mostly enjoy trousers because lots of the time they are playing outside or climbing or running, and trousers are more convenient. But if you want to send them to school in a skirt or a dress and put cycling shorts on underneath so that they can still climb and run and feel like they're not exposed, then that's absolutely fine. They also all need, and lots of you guys have already done this, but just a reminder for those who haven't, a spare change of clothes needs to come into school. This spare change of clothes doesn't have to be school uniform. It could be like leggings or joggers and a top, but it's just in case there's an accident. Doesn't necessarily have to be a toileting accident. It could be that they're playing with the big water tubs that we have and they pour a bucket of water on themselves and they need to have a spare change of clothes. This will stay in school permanently. Obviously, if they need to use the clothes, then they'll come home in those clothes and you can send them back into school. But yeah, label those, put them in a bag, and we will keep it on their peg so that if there is ever an accident or a time for it, then we can give it to them. They also will need a waterproof jacket with a hood. This is because a lot of our curriculum, a lot of our day is outdoors. So the children absolutely love going outdoors, and we go outdoors rain or shine. So they need a raincoat. And please, can everybody label all items of clothing, because if something gets lost, it's really difficult to find out whose it is if it's not got a label in it. You can stitch labels in, you can permanent marker them in, whatever it is, but please label all items of clothing. We even recommend that you label shoes, because they do change shoes. They go outside, sometimes they put wellies on. So even shoes, I know it sounds a bit strange, but they can get mixed up as well. So how can you help? So one of the things we found really, really important is reading to your child every night. So it doesn't mean that your child your child should be reading to you with their guided reading book that they get sent home from school, but also you can read to them a really nice bedtime story. I'm sure lots of you do it already, but just doing it consistently is a really good way to get children to enjoy reading. And if you show them how much you're enjoying the reading and showing your child that you value reading and that you think it's an important part of your life and your life together with your child, then they are way more likely to be interested in reading. And if they're more interested in reading, then they will read more in school and out of school. And there is a correlation between children who are really keen readers and children who are really good writers. So it's a really good way to improve your child's writing outcomes by getting them to read lots of different things, read them together, have a specific time set aside where you can do this reading. When we start to send homework out, which we're not doing at the moment due to COVID restrictions, but we will as soon as we can, ensure they complete it and bring it back in. And just remember the collection times. So school starts for us in reception at 8:35 and it ends at 3:20. I know lots of you have siblings in the rest of the school, but they will be collected at different times too. And that's to allow the fact that you've got to come round to the early years gate and walk all the way around to the big playground to collect your other children. So being prompt is really, really important, because at 8:35 we do handwriting. So if they are late, they're missing their handwriting, which is really important for them at this age. And also please be prompt at the end of the day, because we shut the gate quite quickly. And then, like I've said before, please just label all of your children's clothing, because it is strange what things go missing sometimes. Socks, shoes, gloves, just label everything. And finally, I just wanted to talk to you about Tapestry. So Tapestry is an app that we use, and we use it to assess children in early years foundation stage. We basically build up a learning journey for them over the year. So we start from all the way from in September to July, and you can see your child's learning journey and how they've progressed. And how we assess them in early years is by taking a photograph or a video using our iPads. We upload it to Tapestry, and then we write a note about what the children learnt from that interaction. You, as a parent, can access all of the photographs, videos, and notes of your child, and you can also upload observations. Sometimes I'll set a Tapestry task for homework. For example, one of the tasks I set was to make Play-Doh together. So I give you the recipe, and parents last year uploaded photographs and videos of their child making the Play-Doh. Some people wrote notes as well. I know that, I mean, you haven't, as a parent, you won't have a lot of time to sit down and write extensive notes about your children and what they've been doing every weekend. But even just a photograph or a video only takes a couple of seconds to upload it to Tapestry. And it just means that at the end of the year, when you look back at your child's Tapestry learning journal, you will just see such a beautiful array of learning activities, hopefully from both home and school. So each of you should have received a username and a password for Tapestry. So please use this to access your child's learning journey. If you've not received an email yet, then please come to the office and tell us your updated email address. It might be in your junk mail as well, so check that. And once you've downloaded the app onto your phone and activated your account using the code, then you'll be able to access it. It is a requirement that every single parent in our early years activates our child's Tapestry, because there'll be important aspects of learning there for you to see, and we might sometimes upload notices onto there for you to see as well. It's just a really nice way of you seeing what your child's done at school. And I mean, how often is it that your child comes out of school and you say, "What did you do?" And they say, "I can't remember." Well, this way you can go back over the week and see what they have been up to and use that as a conversation point, and show them the pictures together. So that is the end of the PowerPoint. Like I said before, any of us in the reception team are happy to help you if you have any queries or questions or worries at all. Please come and see us. We do have an open door policy here, so you can come and see us whenever you want. Don't feel like it has to wait. Please come and see us as soon as anything crops up. Sometimes an appointment might be necessary, especially if it's the beginning of the day and I've got to teach your children, but most of the time it'll be absolutely fine just to chat to me whenever. So if you haven't already, please come and introduce yourself. And yeah, like I said, if anything pops up at all, please come and let us know. We really value our relationships with our parents and carers here at this school. We think it's so important for the child's development. And both us in reception and you at home have your child's best interests at heart. So we'll work together this year to make it a lovely year for your children. So thank you for listening again, and any questions come and ask. Thank you, everybody. Bye.